Hey everyone and welcome to my channel. I want to start the reading vlog for the first part of October today and I'm very excited because October is my favorite reading month. I hope we will get some spooky books in, but I also have some not so spooky books I really want to read this month, so we'll see how it goes. But for the start of the month, unfortunately, I did not quite finish all of my reads for the Magical Readathon, which happened in September. I have reading vlogs for that uploaded if you're interested, but I did not manage to finish my last book for my calling, so I did get a scroll of extension so I can finish it a couple days late, and this book would be the next step in the dance. And this is a book that was published in the 90s. I would say it is set in like the 80s or 90s, like feeling wise, and we are following a married couple and they live in the Bayou area, and the woman is like the prettiest girl in town. She's very ambitious and she gets very frustrated with her husband because he doesn't really have ambition in her eyes. He really likes fixing old things. He's very good at it, and that just makes him happy, and that's what he does, and she just wants him to thrive for more, but he doesn't do it. And so they do have like marital problems, and it leads to her leaving him at the beginning of the book. And then the book deals with them just like orbiting around each other, always coming back to each other. And the writing in this is gorgeous. I really enjoy the writing style of this book. I wasn't quite sure how I would feel about the book because the themes it deals with are not my favorite. I don't love reading about married couples. This also has an unwanted pregnancy in the plot, which is something I really don't like, but the way it is dealt with in this book, I am fine with. So it's going much better than I thought. And then around the 180 page mark, something very dramatic happens. There is kind of like a twist, something you don't see coming, and it completely changes where the story is going. So I'm very intrigued to read on. I have about 140 pages left. I don't think I will be able to finish it today just because I have like other things I want to do today, but probably by tomorrow, and so then we can move on from my Magical Readathon reading. And then for the Magical Readathon there's also always a side quest, and you can do the side quest whenever. I just didn't quite finish it yet, so I want to continue on with that in October. And currently I'm reading a book for that, and that is The Blonde Dies First by Joelle Wellington. This is a YA horror. This is basically a slasher novel with a demonic supernatural force. We're following a group of 6 teenagers who go to a party with like some rich white kids. They do this like Ouija board thing, and then a demon shows up and starts hunting them. So I have half an hour left right now, so I will definitely finish that book today. I won't talk a lot about here because I already talked about it in my last vlog. But yeah, I already read the first book by this author. They're not connected in any way, so you can choose either one. But I personally liked the first book by this author a little bit more. It just hit the mark for me a little bit better. I like the themes it explored a little bit better. This one definitely deals with like gentrification. We also have a twin sister dynamic with our main character because she and her twin sister have kind of grown apart over the years, and our main character is really struggling with that, and that is explored quite deeply. And then we also just have a general coming of age narrative with our main character because she just has to realize the ways in which she has to grow up now that she's almost out of high school. So overall, a book I'm really enjoying, but I'll let you know the final verdict once I'm done with that. So today's the 2nd of October and I finished my audiobook as promised. I finished reading The Blonde Dies first. I give it 4 stars. Nothing really has changed from what I said yesterday. It was a really fun read. Great slasher vibes, interesting themes explored. I was quite shocked how low the rating on Goodreads was for this book, and I don't really understand it. I think it's a very, very solid YA horror slasher if you're into that. And if you like, books that play around with like horror movie tropes and stuff like that, you should definitely go and check it out. I think Joelle Wellington is a really, really interesting author to watch out for. And so I started a new audiobook. I wasn't quite sure which one to start. I wanted something spooky, but I wasn't really sure what mood I was in yesterday. So I did a little poll on one of the Discords I'm in, the Discord of Yolene Reads, and we decided, it was a tie between 2 video concepts. I was deciding between... But I decided to go with a themed reading vlog I wanted to do for a while now, and for that I started Dead 11, and this so far is a very interesting read. We are following a man who is looking for his missing sister, and he's looking for her on this really weird island that is very remote, and people don't really talk about it. It's really unsure what's going on this island, and so he goes there looking for her. And this gives me Our Last Echoes vibes, which I really loved last year, so I am very hopeful to enjoy this one. I'm very, very excited to read it, and the first hour or how many minutes I listened to for now were very intriguing, definitely. So I probably won't talk a ton about this one here just because I'm doing that separate reading vlog, but I will let you know how it goes. So there will be parts in this vlog where I spoil the Magical Readathon Autumn Equinox quest, side quest. And so if you don't want to see that, jump over it. I will mark it in the chapters. But I finished reading a book with a mirror on the cover, kind of. I stretched this a little bit. We do have a reflection on the cover, whatever. We did it. We're gonna continue on now, see what happens next. Okay, for this next step, we had to write down 3 things we want to achieve by the end of the year. I did that, but it's personal, so I'm not gonna share. So we continue on. Okay, so this is the tricky part. We have to think about this. We have choices. We can only choose one. There might be something great at the end of that tunnel, or just a light. We'll see. I think what we can scratch for my character is safe passage. That's just not what my character wants. We don't need to be safe. All the other ones, though, are kind of valid. So I think really it's the first one. I think it is to understand. I think that's what I really want and what my character would want as well, because I don't really differentiate. Okay, let's do it. We want to understand. Oh my god, I'm scared. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm so scared, but I'm gonna do it just for the fun of it. So we have to read a book with immortal beings, and I think for that I want to reread one of the Monstress comics, because I've been meaning to catch up a little bit with Monstress. Okay, we are back with the quest. Again, I'm gonna spoil the quest for the Autumn Equinox of the Magical Readathon. If you haven't done that one yet, I will spoil parts. But we have done this prompt, so now it is time to roll the d20. Okay, I'm so scared. This is like unreasonable because I don't know.
Like, if I die in this one, I'm just gonna start the Archmage over, I guess. But like, I don't want to die. But like, okay, I pulled up a die. I'm scared. No, no. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, I guess we're dying. Okay, let's see. Let's see what happens.
Okay, so I did most definitely just kill off my character, which, you know, it happens. Whatever. You gamble, you lose. But, so basically, this means for me personally, I will give up all of my guild reputation points, which is fine because it says here that you get like 75 new ones to start out with. And it's fine, like, I don't anticipate that I will need to spend a lot of those. And I will just restart, I think, the Archmage calling with year one next year, which I also really don't mind because I really like that calling. I don't want to change it because it just works so well for me. I also won't change my guild because I love my guild. So I'm gonna just give up the progress of my schooling and the guild reputation points, and I think that's fine. But yeah, this is kind of a oh, a sad ending. But you know, shit happens. Life is dangerous. So today is the 4th of October and it is time for a reading update. So the 3rd of October is a holiday in Germany, so yesterday I had a lot of time for reading and I definitely used that time well. First of all, I finished reading the next step in The Dance, which was my last book I had to finish for my Archmage calling in the Magic Readathon, so now I'm completely done with that. And yeah, this was great in a weird way. I have talked about this in my last vlog, I believe. I'm not quite sure what I said in this vlog already, but in this one we follow a married couple when they're like really young and they kind of have this falling out and separate, and then we're following them for a while to see whether they can find their way back to each other. This is set in the 80s in the Bayou area. A little bit of this is also set in California. And so it definitely has these like old school 80s vibes. It was also written in the 90s, so that's not surprising. People don't have cell phones and stuff like that. And for the first like 180 pages, this was fine, this was okay. We're just following these characters, but then stuff starts happening and things get very, very dramatic, and I did not expect that. Now, I gave this book 4.5 stars. I think the writing is exceptional. It's really, really good, and I was really hooked into the writing even when I didn't really care about what was going on plot-wise. And there are a couple of plot points in here that I really don't care about. For example, there is an unwanted pregnancy in here, but I think the way it is dealt with was okay for me. And as I said, we're just watching this like married couple as they figure out that they don't really know each other, even though they're married. And that's just not something I like love reading about. But yeah, just the writing style and then the overall drama, starting from around the 180 page mark, it just kept me reading. So I would recommend this if you're into like literary fiction, because this was definitely a surprise for me. Then next up, I did a little reread of Monstress Volume 6. This is my favorite volume of Monstress. So yeah, this one is so good. Like, a lot of things that you've been waiting for when you read the story happens in this volume, and it's just like so juicy and like the beginning of this is so heartbreaking, and it's just overall the best volume. I'm not quite sure whether I gave it 4.5 stars or 5 stars when I read this, I think 2 years ago for the first time, but yeah, this was just great. It's just great, and I love this comic series, but this volume especially is just the best one. So I was so happy to reread this yesterday, and I'm planning on continuing on because I want to reread volume 7 and then finally read volume 8, and then for now I'm caught up again. And yeah, in Monstress we're following a woman called Micah Halfwolf, as she has kind of like an old god, kind of like demon thing living inside of her, and she is just involved in this big war where the humans fight the organics, and organics are basically like human-animal hybrids. And Micah is one of the organics, but as I said, she has this like old god living inside of her, which also sets her apart from a lot of other people. So yeah, this is just great. It's a great series if you like very complex epic fantasy with like tons of women in power. Like really, there's so few men that play a role in this series. There's lots of sapphic love in this series. So if you like any of that, you have to check it out, and you definitely have to give it a couple of volumes because the world is so complex, you probably won't understand what's going on for a while, but it comes together. And as I said, I'm completely sold by volume 6, but so excited to continue on as well. And then I started my next physical read, which is going to be The Discord of Gods. This is book 5 in the Chorus of Dragons series. We're coming to an end, and I'm not quite sure how I will survive. I love these characters so dearly, and this one is a little bit different from the other books. With the other books, we always had like a very clear person who was doing like a transcript and doing footnotes on it. In this one, it doesn't really do that. We still get footnotes, but from 2 characters, which I kind of like. And yeah, we'll see. I'm like very worried. I'm about 50 pages in right now, so about 10%, and I hope to make some good progress during the weekend. And it will be so like mixed feelings when I finish this book because I need to know what happens, and at the same time I don't want to let go of these characters. So I have done a complete reading vlog for the first 3 books of that series. You can go and check it out if you want to. And I will also do a separate reading vlog for book 4 and 5 of the series that will be up after this vlog, I presume. So you can check out all of my thoughts about this series. To keep it short, this is a series where we follow a world that has like a very, very big problem. There's basically a hole in the world, and if they don't fill that hole and close it, it will just destroy the world. And it's like about different characters who try to achieve that, but they have like different ideas how to do it and different moralities when it comes to solving this problem. It's fantastic. It's such a fantastic series. It really lives with the characters. I think the plot is not that important. Like, obviously you want to solve that problem, but I think like the characters is where this is at, and that is just my jam. I'm a character-driven reader, so I'm loving this. Last update for now, with my audiobook, I'm like almost a third of the way through Dead 11, and this is really good so far. I'm really liking it. The audiobook has like different parts to it, like there is letters, there's interviews, there is like a normal kind of telling the story of a main character, and it's really fun so far. We go to this like very remote island, and our main character is trying to figure out what happened to his missing sister, but we also get chapters from the sister's point of view. And yeah, this island is just like a little bit weird, a little bit creepy. Nothing like outright scary has happened yet, but it's just this like oddness, you know, there's like oddness that feels threatening, and I really, really enjoy that. Definitely gives me Our Last Echoes vibes, but an adult, so I am very excited to keep listening to that. So today is the 8th of October. I can't believe we're in October. And I do have a quick update for you. It's maybe not that quick because I did quite a bit of reading this weekend. Yesterday I had to go to the dentist again. If you watched my early vlogs from this year, like January, February, you know that I had some terrible issues with a tooth and I get very, very panicky. Like, I've always been scared of the dentist, but what happened with that was just like the top of pain. So I was terrified yesterday, so I didn't film the update yesterday, but I decided to look for a new dentist. Luckily, I got into one, which is it's not very easy here. Like, if you have a doctor, it's like so hard to find a new one in any area. So luckily now I have a new dentist because like no one would ever get me to go into that old place again just because like all of those bad memories. So that went really well, but I was a mess yesterday. So let's talk about what I've been reading throughout the weekend. First of all, I continued my Monstress reread with volume 7. This one is The Devourer, and I really enjoyed this one on reread as well. I gave this one 4 stars. This one is a lot more like plot reveal heavy, and I prefer like the character work and the character dynamics. So compared to volume 6, this is not quite as good for me personally, but I think depending on what you're looking for, that might be different for you. I think this series is just overall so strong. The art is so gorgeous, so I was very happy to reread this one to finally continue on with volume 8. Which is exactly what I did, and volume 8 is a hefty one. The previous volumes were under 200 pages. This one is even a little bit over 200 pages, so that was quite interesting. And again, in this one we have a lot of plot reveals. We go to, you could say, a different planet in this one. Volume 8 is called Inferno, and it was interesting. I think we learned a lot of things that might have like big impact later on, but at the same time, again, this lacked a little bit of the character work for me personally, so I gave this one 4 stars as well. But I really can't wait to see where the series is going. I think the next volume will be out in November or something like that. They usually come out around that time, so I will definitely be picking that up to read next year. But for now, I'm caught up with Monstress, which is great, and it was just a really, really good time. So while I was making my way through these volumes, I also read more in Discord of the Gods, the final book in the Course of Dragons series, and with this one I am now halfway through, so I'm so close to the end, you guys. I have less than 250 pages left, and I'm just not ready to let these characters go. Meanwhile, I'm also very, very excited and interested to see how it all ends. I think this one carries on very much in the vein of the previous books, so if you enjoyed the tone of those, you will probably enjoy this book as well. And yeah, I feel like some big things are coming my way with this book now in the last half of the last book, and it's always so exciting to get to the end of a like very long series. At the same time, it is so bittersweet because yeah, I love these characters so much and I love this world, and it's gonna be hard to say goodbye to that. So mixed feelings in my chest regarding finishing that series, but as I said, I'm also very excited, and I think I will absolutely finish that this week so we can carry on to some spooky books. But this one is a little spooky as well because like for like the first half, a lot of our characters go to the afterlife. So interesting. Okay, that's my physical reading, and then for my audiobook, I'm currently about 3/4 of the way through Dead 11, and this one, it has great atmosphere, but I feel like I just want some things to happen now. I think that we get a lot of reveals right now, but not a lot of action, and I would like to see some actual like creepy action. So we'll see whether I get that before the book is over, but I'm having a good time. I'm really enjoying listening to that, so that's going really well too. So to sum up my reading so far this month, really, really good. I'm choosing great books. So today is the 11th of October and it is time for a quick update. For my physical reading, I'm still making my way through Discourse of Gods and I have a little bit more than 100 pages left now. So I'm pretty sure I will finish it this weekend, which is very exciting. And then for my audiobook, I finished reading Dead 11 and I decided to give it 4 stars. This was definitely a very atmospheric read and I think this just managed to build like a very interesting like setup and lore around what's going on this island. But overall, I was waiting for like some twists and turns at the end. I think that it lacked a little bit of action and like actual creepy things. There was like one kind of like a recording type of thing that I thought was very creepy because I listened to it right before going to bed, and whenever audiobooks have these like elements that sound more real, I really enjoy that. So I would definitely recommend going with the audiobook if you want to read this book. But yeah, overall, I just felt like in the end it kind of fizzled out, or it just wasn't like as explosive as I wanted it to be. It didn't have the twists and turns that I wanted there. So it was a good read, but unfortunately it did not blow me away. And so we're moving right along to another book I'm very intrigued by, but this one could really go either way, and it is called Home is Where the Bodies Are. And in this one we are following 3 siblings who have recently lost their mother. This actually starts out with a scene where the mother passes away from cancer, so content warnings for that. And in this one, we kind of see this family who have this like tragedy that brings them back together. And there is this mystery of what happened to their father because he went missing 7 years ago, or like he disappeared 7 years ago. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes. This is more like a thriller with like family drama elements and like actual skeletons in the closet. So I'm intrigued to see how I like it. I could really enjoy this, but it could also just not be for me because with these like family things in thrillers, it could really go either way for me. So I'll keep you updated on that, but that is my reading right now.
Hast du die Nüsse dann? Langsam ja vor.
Today is the 14th of October and I do have some reading updates. So first of all, I finished The Discord of Gods and this was so good. I gave this book 5 stars. I think it is the perfect conclusion to this series. If you ever make it here, I'm pretty sure you will love it. I do think that this series is very consistent in tone, especially starting from the second book. And it's just what I wanted. This book is just what I wanted. So this is a new favorite series for me, just because I love the character work in here and it is so interesting, the things it deals with. And I just loved it. And this conclusion, I sent like a little gif on one of the discords I'm in where I was like, yeah, my face is basically like this shocked otter, like, you know, because like this ending was quite shocking. Like I did not see coming what they did to make this work in the end, and so good, and I hope you pick this series up if you haven't already. Now for my next physical read, I started The London Séance Society by Sarah Penner. This is a book that I had my eye on for a while. I borrowed it from the library as an ebook. Sarah Penner wrote The Lost Apothecary, which I really enjoyed, so I wanted to check out her second book. I would say her books are mostly historical fiction, with just a little twist of like thrillery or horror elements. So in this one we follow a girl called Lena, I think, and she has lost her sister Evie. Evie was murdered, and this is set in the late 1800s, and she goes to Paris to study under a spiritualist, a very famous one, and she wants to learn how to summon her sister's ghost to find out who murdered her. And so we have this, but we very soon discover that this might be a much bigger plot, and that maybe Evie's death was just like one small part of like something terrible that happened. So it's very interesting so far. I'm a little bit more than a third of the way through. This is a very quick read, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. This is also sapphic. Our main character is attracted to girls and women, and this also has a little bit of romance going on with her and that spiritualist that she is learning from. So yeah, I'm going to continue reading that one, and I'm very interested to see how I like it. Last but not least, for my audiobook, Home is Where the Bodies Are, I have 2 hours left now, and I feel like we have to be like so close to the final reveal. I do have a theory of what is going on. Basically, we have 3 siblings who come together after her mother's death, their mother's death, obviously, and they find a videotape that shows something very incriminating for their parents. The father has disappeared, the mother is now dead, and they try to uncover what really happened there. And I have a very strong suspicion. This book definitely gives me like one man destroys the lives of multiple women vibes, so we'll see whether I will be correct in the end. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to know the ending, and so yeah, I'm trying to kind of rush this because I want to know, which is always a good thing when you're reading a thriller. So I'll update you on that one when I finished it, but that's my reading for now. So today's the 16th of October, and with that we have come to the end of this first part of the vlog. I didn't do any more physical reading from the last update, however I did finish my audiobook Home is Where the Bodies Are. I had a lot of fun reading this thriller, and I definitely had a suspicion what was going on, and I was correct in the end, but this was definitely one of those cases where you can guess along, and when you're then right you feel like you did something really great. It's not something where it's like so obvious that you get annoyed. I thought it was exactly right, and I don't have like a ton of success with thrillers, but this one definitely worked for me. I think the overall theme of, you know, the lives of so many women being destroyed just because of the choices of one man, it's just something I can get behind, you know? That's something that is interesting to me. So I gave it 4 stars, and I would definitely recommend, if you're looking for a thriller, to check out this fall. And I also started a new audiobook, which I won't talk about a lot here, but I will talk about in the next vlog. And that is Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. Really excited about this one. I think it's going to be quite a quick read, and I chose the audiobook again because it has like a full cast reading, and this has like different types of media because it's about a movie, so we have like the movie scripts and stuff like that, and you have like the noises when they turn the pages in the first reading, and so yeah, it's really interesting. So yeah, that's my reading for the first half of October. Maybe not quite so exciting, but I hope you still enjoyed watching this vlog, and yeah, we'll see what I get up to in the second half of the month, and I'll share that with you very soon. So subscribe and leave a like, and I'll talk to you. Bye!